and he reached into his master's pocket and pulled out his master's cell phone.
Subscribe now, or else!
Hey everybody, I'm here today with my friend Jonas. Good to see you again, Jonas.
Nice to see you again, Adam. Glad to be back.
Now, you might remember Jonas from the last time he was here helping me with a cool storytelling episode. If you want to check that one out, you can click that little button right above Jonas's head. Well, I thought it would be fun, Jonas, if we could do like we did last time, but this time make it an extra special Halloween story.
Just as long as it doesn't have creepy clowns.
No clowns. Vampires, goblins, witches, that's all good. No clowns.
Yeah, no clowns. I hate them.
Why don't you start us off? Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, there were two people who lived in a mansion. They lived there and were wildly known, not for their kindness, for their richness and cruelness. Then one night, their butler opened the door, and then they found both of them dead on the floor.
Okay. Well, the first thing the butler did was he went to pick up the phone. It was one of those phones that's still plugged into the wall. And he went and he picked it up, but it was dead. And then he went and he reached into his master's pocket and pulled out his master's cell phone, but it had been smashed. That wasn't going to work either. All of a sudden, he heard this.
Then he did what his instincts told him to do. He ran out of the house as fast as he could, but he found out that all the doors were locked. The only ones that were unlocked were leading him toward the noise.
The noise got louder and louder. Ooh, ooh, ooh. The only door left that he could escape out of, possibly to get out of the house, was the back kitchen door. He knew that if he could make it down those stairs, across the backyard, and through the fence, that he would be safe. But on his way to the kitchen, he tripped over a large black cat. Now, there was not a black cat living in this house.
Yes, and then the cat suddenly looked at him strangely, and it felt like she was reading his mind. And then she did the most unexpected thing. She jumped over him and then pushed open the door and moved her head like this, beckoning him to follow her.
Wow, so the butler is now racing across the lawn behind the cat just as they come to the fence. The fence has a giant padlock on it, but the cat looks up and says, "It's okay, we can escape." The man turned to the cat and said, "You're going to have to tell me who you are."
She transformed into something he never realized what it was. It turned out not to be a cat. It turned out to be a man. He had a black coat, a shaggy beard, and he also had a cane, a Mel cane with a Mel cat at the top.
The butler recognized the man. He had seen him around the property, but it would be kind of one of those things where he'd see him there, and then he'd be gone. For years and years cleaning that house, that man had shown up. That was Old Man Witherspoon, the original owner of the mansion, who'd been dead since 1870.
Finally, he just asked him, "Are you here to destroy me?" And then
the old man ghost shook with his head no, and he stepped back to reveal a giant steamer trunk, like one of those old spooky trunks that you see in a haunted house. And he waved his arm and the steamer trunk opened up, and there inside was his passport and plane tickets and a whole suitcase full of money. The old ghost indicated that it was time for him to go, for all of the cruel things that he had experienced working for the old man and the old woman.
Then, when the butler left, the old ghost decided it was time to take over that house once over and get out whatever it was in there.
And that was the night, Halloween night, when at the start of the night, there was a house standing in that spot. And the next morning, there was nothing.
For years, many people tried figuring it out, but the people who did figure it out were never seen
Or heard from. Again, happy Halloween, my friend.
Happy Halloween, Adam.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. For more Adam's Answers episodes, you can click right here. And please don't forget to subscribe. That happens down here. Laugh a little, think a lot, love better.